I should have turned that on before. So even if on calls like this, people get here late, Patrick, they can still afterwards come and listen to it, and many do. I think many more are downloading it than are actually on it at the time.
Yeah, but the problem is, do they really understand what the hell they're doing? Okay.
Right. Because they
never give any feedback, never give any thank yous or anything like that. Basically, my phone number's up there all over the damn place. Okay.
That is true. If they were here at the beginning, they would get enough information so they could ask questions during the program.
If something works, basically tell the people. Okay? And this will work as soon as you understand what the hell is going on. Because I've talked about this before, about the railroad system. Okay? And basically looking at what we found about this homesteading, and everything in this country was founded upon homesteading from the very get-go. Okay? And that homesteading is a American term. Okay? It didn't come from England, didn't come from China, it didn't come from Africa, it didn't come from any of those other shithead foreign countries. It's an American term. Okay? And that means when you take public land out of circulation and you become the settler and the owner of that land for your lifetime. See, that's what has been the fallacy here. And then basically the railroads in 1841, okay, got a law passed, which was a preemptive law, allowing them to become a corporate, because, see, a corporation cannot become a homesteader, a settler on public land. Public land and land can only be owned by a living individual. Okay? Land was not put here on this damn earth for a damn corporation. It was put here for mankind. And we've got to start stepping up to the plate and acting like we're the ones that this planet was designed for, not for the damn corporations. So it's all about homestead. Homestead is the lawful. You get a good and clear title to the land. That's what really needs to be done. Look up what it says about good and indefeasible title. A title which enabled the owner to exercise absolute and exclusive control as against all others. It can't be broken up, that title. The Amish out here, several other organizations in this country, how have they gotten away from not paying income tax? How have they gotten away from not having to have driver's license, not to have identification cards, pay property taxes? Because they have themselves down as a homestead. And basically your body came from public lands. Now you have to claim that as private land, as a homestead. That's what the document that I posted up there. Then you can attach your house, your vehicle, and everything else to that homestead. Now it becomes part of your homestead. And it becomes exempt from all their BS. You do the other documents that I had up there, that notice of landlord termination, tenancy at will. You understand what that says. You have to know what the hell that says, because that's what they've got you in, is in a leasing contract. You look at your certificate of live birth, okay, if you got the long form, okay? You should have a court registrar that recorded you into the book of life. That would have been by the court. Then there was a second registrar that came about roughly 90 days later. This is if you were an original birthing and had your stuff recorded right away. Now, if you came on the scene later on and started to put your paperwork in, it may not have taken quite that long. Okay? You go in and look up what it says in the preemptive or preemption laws, okay, that are out here. Preemption, an entry made upon unappropriated public lands for homestead purposes. The right granted by an act of Congress to settlers on public lands of the United States to cultivate, improve, and acquire title thereto. But you have to read between the lines what the hell that was done. We already had the homestead laws out here. So what was this preemption? It was basically allowed in September 4th of 1841. What was going on in that time frame? See, that's where you have to think outside the box. Why was this law put there? It was because of the railroads. They were starting to go across the country. The railroad magnates came in and basically put this thing in. And then later on they had to have the Sherman Act and a couple others to stop some of these monopolies. But we've got one of the biggest monopolies out here right now is in the government. And what have they done? They have turned around and done everything that the railroad companies were doing back in the 1800s. They were allowed 3 months to put their declaration, their declaratory statement in to declare that they were going to be the settler. 3 months. 90 days. And see, that's what the state did, was 90 days after my birth. They came in and put a preemptive claim. I have to rebut that claim and claim my private property. See, that's what everybody... We've been looking up the wrong stuff, okay? Now, you continue and you go down the path of looking at codes of law, and you're never going to get out of the system. I can guarantee it right now. Because you don't understand the words. Until you get into the words and start looking at them, you're never going to understand how to put the puzzle together. You've got to know where the securities are at the state level. It's the Secretary of the State. Secret Airy. okay, a secret and a depositary for the state securities. That's what a secretary of the state is at the state level. The Secretary of State at the national level is the one that is holding the securities at the international level, not at the eternal United States eternal level, but he is holding them at the international level. That's why they control the passport. That's an international document. Well, then where in the hell are the internal securities? Well, there is only one other federal government that has a secretary of some shit in office. And that's the damn Secretary of the Treasury. So that's where all the internal securities for the United States, for all the states in the United States are held. See, they have us locked down at the state level, at the internal level, and at the international level with the three different secretaries. And they're really security brokers, because that's all these things are, is securities, assurances. But the big thing is you have to claim your land. You came from the public land. Now you have to take it into the private. And once it's in the private, it cannot be taxed. Okay? Only the public can be taxed. And utilized for their benefits. So that's the big thing. You need to bring it out, and then basically when you die, you don't go into a commercial cemetery. You get out there and go back into the earth the way you're supposed to. Back into the public lands. Those cemeteries are corporate lands. I don't know how fucking dumb people can get. Can't even read the damn Bible. They got to be put in the damn coffin. 100-year expectancy that the body will look the same 100 years from now. Who gives a rat's ass? You're dead. Let the worms have you. I ran out of smokes again. That's why I'm a little testy, okay? I've got to go to the courts now because basically these guys are not compliant. They haven't even called me. But I know damn well that I'm right on, okay? We've got them. It's just that we need to get more people out here in the process. The problem is, in most cases, these guys have never seen anybody come forward and do this. So they're trying to figure out what the shit was just done. Ask yourself, have you ever seen any other guru out here talking about any of this stuff?
Not a one.
Maybe have talked about putting a homestead exemption claim in against the house, but nobody's talked about it doing against their body. And that's the most important hunk of land you've got. Yeah, you look at this, and basically I put one into the clerk of the court for my 8 traffic tickets or whatever that I haven't paid yet. She said, well, basically, if you just put down one court case on it, it'll just apply to that one. Said, okay, well, I'll put them all on there. So I put all the court cases up the top, wrote them on there, and basically she took it and filed it. Said, okay. I went to the county recorder's office to file a copy of the Homestead Exemption there. Well, they told me that no, those are being handled here in the state of Iowa at the recorder's or at the assessor's office. Well, I don't know who can think outside the box, but basically, who does the assessor work for? The assessor works for the ones that are controlling the securities for the state so that they can write the bonds, and so evidently the assessor is working for the Secretary of the State. So I put my exemption in there. I also copied the Secretary of State. So now the Secretary of State should be getting it from 2 different directions, my fax and also from the assessor. I already had them shook up pretty well with the damn termination notice. But I think the big thing was waiting for that exemption. I sent that into the Secretary of the Treasury, also to the Postmaster General today. I'm going tomorrow to my federal district court. I thought I did, but I had the wrong fax numbers on there, so I sent it twice to the Postmaster General. So he's going to be thinking, what the hell is this guy up to now? But I'm not worried about that. They all think I'm halfway crazy anyway. But when they read the documents, they'll know that I'm not crazy. When you guys read these documents, and basically if you have any common sense whatsoever, you'll know that I'm not crazy either. Send a copy of this in with your termination, with your Homestead Act, and basically into the federal district court, and basically the charges are if they have not complied within the 3 days' time. Unlawful combination. What is a unlawful combination? It is basically a deprivation of free trade, just trade. It's a monomania, or whatever the hell, M-O-N-O-M-A-N-I-A. And racketeering. Monopoly. Yeah. Preventing American free trade and justice. Just trade. And then basically, the charges are unlawful, okay? There's a whole bunch of unlawful items that they're doing. I think I listed most of them all on there previously in one of the documents. I think in that Word document that I sent to you. Unlawful conspiracy, unlawful contract, unlawful detainer, unlawful entry, unlawful injury, unlawful order. What one haven't they committed against us?
Every one. Unlawful covenant, too.
And then also, unlawful order is also an unlawful warrant. Do they have jurisdiction over us? No. None of these courts do. When you are in the private land, they only have jurisdiction while you're in the public land. Why do they think they call it public school, public road, public this, public that? They're telling you you're in the wrong world. I told people a couple years ago, okay, probably about 3 or 4, whatever, about doing a survey determining your boundary, your land boundary, if you don't have one on file. The land boundary that most people had was the hospital birth certificate with the feet prints, your birth weight, height, and everything else. That was your boundary, your survey. If you're going to have a homestead, it has to be surveyed. Now, if you don't have one, you can always go down to the sheriff's office and get a fingerprint, item, picture, whatever, and weight, height, and put it on a record. Now you've got a survey. The sheriff does the survey for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said in my document. I've got 2 surveys. I did one about 3 years ago. And you don't have a Social Security number or anything like that. This is a private survey, land survey. For your private records. You don't argue with them. Just try and explain it to them, okay? Nicely. You get in an argument, and you're going to screw it all up. Just tell them, I need it for this reason. Can you do it? If you can't, then I'll go find someone else that can. There are others out there, okay? It's nice to have. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Just get these damn documents in, started down the road. Because more than likely, when they come down to see you, they will put the final tidbits into the process of the surveying of the land. Make sure you haven't put on 400 pounds and trying to claim only 200 pounds of public land. Or vice versa, whatever. They need to know how much public land they're transferring it over to the private side. And see, that works both with the living body and with anything else out here. I don't know whether those guys are all hanging up or what.
No, that's my Skype here. They're downloading the instruments, and each one time someone downloads them, that's a sound. I'll turn that volume down. Looks like some people just got home and got to the Skype thing.
But this is what you guys want, okay? You mess around with this, and basically the time is very, very short. I've tried to tell you that before. You need to process this as quick as possible. But you need to take a couple hours or so and try and sit down and think this thing through. But this is more important than anything else. Okay? I try to tell Tom just to get the thing faxed up there and then try and get his understanding and stop trying to play around and trying to help everybody. Basically, people ought to start being able to help themselves. They can retype one damn stinking page of a document. It's a very simple little document. And most people don't even need everything that I have on there. Because you don't have the military. So you basically only have one
Hi, this is Isaac.
item, which is your body. Okay? So that's all you need to really claim, but you need to have some explanation of why you're claiming it. Now, you could also, if you wanted to, put your house, your car, and everything else listed on there, but just make them simple statements. I own this car, VIN number, whatever. This is my homestead property. It's exempt from all public claims any longer because it's now private land. It's not public land. And like I said, they can only put taxes on the public land. Okay. Go ahead and open up for conversation.
Okay. So by putting your property on it also, that's amounting to what people have been trying to do with the allodial title.
Yes.
But it's much cleaner.
It's the only way.
Yeah,
You've got the good, clean, good, and indefeasible title. Indefeasible, I guess, whatever it is.
Yeah, indefeasible. Yeah, I mistakenly read it as indefensible because this tax was sort of flopped up. Right. But it really does seem like this homestead is actually a requirement before you send in the termination. That having that.
Well, you can do them both at the same time. How long does it take to put the two documents together and send them out together? Okay?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. You haven't done it yet, so basically do them both at the same time.
Well, my termination's out. Yeah?
Go ahead.
This is based on the Homestead Act of 1862.
No, this is based on the Homestead Act from the Constitution initially. What was the first thing this country did? We've got to increase the country, populate the country. So what do? You homestead it. So this was from the very get-go, taking public property and turning it into private property under a homestead. And that goes back to the foundation of this country. No, the railroad shit came about in 1841, okay? Now, they remodified the Homestead Act in some regards to give some foreigners a claim to be able to come over and do some homesteading before they had their time up. you want to read those acts, you can. But basically, you don't need to go quite that far back. You just need to know, how was this country really founded?
Okay, thanks.
Okay? And it's all about taking public land out of circulation, and that's what we haven't done. We haven't taken our public land out of circulation. We've been trying to do it, but basically we haven't been doing it right because it's all about homestead. And all these so-called expert gurus out there haven't said a damn thing about homesteading your own living body.
Yeah, Gene Katie.
Questions? Come on.
When you filed in the court, you actually filed it against particular cases then?
Yes, you have to file. If you go into the court, you're going to have to file it against a case. Why would you be going into the court? To file something to stop and basically put an exemption in against a court case, saying, hey, this action is exempt. You can't basically go after me any longer.
Will it undo what happened in the case, or we need other actions for that? Will it undo what happened in the case, or do we need other actions for that?
Basically, the only one you're going to worry about is if you've got to pay out of your back pocket.
Right. Well, I was thinking of the property that was taken from me.
Well, then you go in and basically file a claim in with the Secretary of State on that.
Okay.
See, where was that security transferred to? Title, security, land, Secretary of State. You go after the security broker.
Okay. That's what it is.
Yeah. If basically the banker took it from you, then basically the Secretary of State has had that transferred over to that banker. So it's on file over there.
Okay.
And see, you need to get that stuff in and say, hey, that was really exempt. You better go and get that back.
Right.
Or you better give me compensation. See, what I'm doing here right now, this has these guys really shook up because they've been controlling a monopoly. We can bring this damn bullshit down big time. But people have to get off their ass and start doing this. What?
Jan has his mic open. I'll mute him out. Jan, if you want to add a question, just star 6 to come back in. Yeah, I like your explanation you made to me, Patrick, on what they did with the railroad. Is once they figured out what they did with the railroad, they did it to us.
Yes, the bankers and everything else. They just the railroads were already in process. They've already taken control of a lot of the land across the country, a lot of the minerals and everything, and opened up the access to them. Now they needed to come in and start controlling the people. So basically they moved over with the 14th Amendment in the process. See, it wasn't the 14th Amendment that really did this country in. It was really that 1841 Act that allowed the corporations to come in and claim to be a settler on the public lands.
Right.
That's the demise of the country.
And that's how they became a tenant.
Yes, and then basically later on in 1933, basically they brought in the government corporation to be another corporation to come in and claim all this public stuff. Who is running the damn public education system? The Rockefellers, okay? And the Carnegies, the public education system. So basically they got everybody to stay in the public, and then basically they could control that because they did their preemptions against the people. And the people never were told about homesteading. You might go and ask the Amish and see whether they continually, every year, learn about homesteading in their school system or once they get up to a certain grade. Why they're able to go out and buy land a lot more expensive than other people? Because down the road, they don't have to pay any income tax on it or any property tax, usage tax. They don't have to have insurance on it because it's no longer public land. Only stuff that is in the public realm can be taxed.
Yeah, that's the question I was trying to ask you. How did the Amish learn about this? I know it's become tradition with them. It'd be very interesting to know how they
when did the Amish come over here? They came over about the same time that the damn country was formed, and basically they knew what the hell the damn Constitution says, but most everybody nowadays doesn't understand a damn word in the Constitution. Okay?
Right.
They go and start looking at all these damn codes of law and modern-day statutes, and that ain't going to tell you shit. You've got to go back to the source, just like in the movie Matrix. You've got to go to the source, find out what was really set up. You want a good movie to watch about all this stuff? Watch The Lone Ranger. It talks about going to the source in there quite a bit. It talks about silver. It talks about the railroad. It talks about the corporations. It talks about the lawman, the Lone Ranger, a U.S. Marshal, a lone defender of justice. It talks about the homesteaders. It talks about the slaves that basically the corporations were making. It's got the whole shooting match in that damn one movie.
Yeah, I just downloaded it. I'll watch it.
Okay, anybody got a question?
Well, it seems not, Patrick. I guess they've got to
I can't believe that everybody knows everything and can't ask one little simple question.
Well, has anybody read over the documents? At least pop up with that. Tell us how far you've gotten.
Well, they don't need to read over the document. I mean, basically, they might have a damn question about public and private land. If they just open up their damn mind, why wasn't this out here? You know, that makes a lot of sense. Public schools, private schools. Okay? Public roads, private roads. Public this, private that. Now, you basically claim your homestead. You need to look at that homestead with the Latin phrase after it. What does it say? It says family seat in there. I sort of tried to highlight that. That means wherever you plant your ass, that is your homestead on public land. So you go into the public court and you sit in that chair. You have just claimed that chair and that place as private homestead while you're there. You're driving down the public road in your homestead vehicle. That is your homestead moving down the road. That's why they can't attack you. They may attack you, but basically they're in the wrong. But you need to know how to fend them off, and you do it sort of politely in the process.
And we have our homestead exemption with us from now on.
Yeah. You get a copy of that on file, and then you keep a copy. When you go into the court and you file one there, you take 2 copies. You've embossed both of them. You put the one in for the court case that you have, and then you get the other time stamped so that you have a copy that you submitted that into the court on this date. You do the same thing with the recorder or the assessor's office. You take 2 copies, 2 originals, you give them one, and basically have them time stamp the other. And I think that we might have to, in the process, since we heard about that court case down in South Carolina, okay, where the husband and wife were in a tax scenario. And then all of a sudden they put something into the court case, and basically the court case got shut down. Well, it had to be a exemption. Okay, what I was just doing here, this homestead exemption. And then also order for the termination. You can make these as simple as you want them. Okay? It doesn't have to be as complicated as what I put out there. And put that into the federal district court, and then about 2 or 3 days later, they had the men visiting them. So tomorrow morning, I'm going after the chief judge and putting that into him for the federal district court, and also to Judge Alito. And then also charging the Secretary of State, and if they want, they can issue arrest warrants for the Secretary of State and the Treasurer and basically the Director that has been dragging their feet on this. It's about time somebody starts getting arrested, just like in the movie National Treasure. Somebody is going to jail. And it ain't going to be me. It's going to be the corporations if we finally get off our butts and start standing up to them. Okay. Questions? Anybody alive out there? Anybody got any good examples? Any responses? Anybody done anything in this last week?
They don't seem to be willing to say. I've gotten my termination out, and this will be the follow-up to that.
Yes, and then you need to put it into the Secretary of the Treasury, to the Postmaster General, because he's over the whole United States. And basically, see, since this is a unlawful combination process, this is also affecting trade. And who is responsible for trade in this country, especially free and just trade? The Postmaster General.
Mm. And you're right. As we more and more go in and they see it's not just you doing it, that the pressure is building up, they know they have to do something.
Yes. I wasn't come here to be the damn Lone Ranger and have something like 17 or 1,900, 2,000, whatever the hell on the damn group site. Had more on the other damn site. But basically, just because of my rough edges and everything else, I pissed too many people off or whatever. I'm sorry. But that's my makeup, okay? I'm bound and determined to get the damn truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. And that's what's offended a lot of people. They think that they know what the truth is, and that they know how to read the codes, and that I'm fucking wrong. I ain't. Okay? I've been down every damn road out there.
Well, I've got some people who will be putting some things out very soon.
Well, very soon, it better be fucking tomorrow, okay?
That's true.
I don't want to hear this very soon shit, okay?
Well,
you tell me when you got it out the door, okay? That's all that I'm concerned about. Get it out the fucking door.
But as you said, I have to do mine first before I start doing the helping other people.
Well, you basically get the word to them, and basically they better start doing it the same time you're doing it.
Okay.
Okay? If they want out of the system, then basically they better bust their ass. And it ain't that damn hard.
No, it isn't anymore.
I mean, some of these people have seen exemptions come into the court. It's just because most of the people in the Patriot community here haven't ever got their head out of their ass. Because they were misled from the get-go. But it's all about public versus private land. And that's the whole gist of this damn process. Now, is there anybody out there who's got a question? Okay?
I guess not.
How many people you got on the call?
There are 12. I'm sure there were questions arise on the Skype group tomorrow, but nothing tonight.
Yeah, why wait till tomorrow to ask your damn questions on a damn Skype group when you got the damn guy that basically knows what the shit's going on here to answer the damn thing for you?
Right.
Are you guys that damn stupid? You go to the druggie down the road to find out what your school assignment is? Or do you ask the damn teacher? I really hate to say this, but you guys are really fucking pissing me off. Good night.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Thank you,
I'll
Patrick.
get right on.
I can't think of any questions I have, so I have to mute myself a lot. Thanks, Thomas.
Okay.